Gaur, the guardian of the Misty Peaks. Please subscribe so you don't miss a new story. In the heart of the Misty Peaks, a vast and ancient forest thrived. This woodland was home to countless creatures, both big and small, living in harmony under the gentle watch of Gaia, a majestic and wise Gaur. Gaia was no ordinary Gaur. She possessed an extraordinary ability to communicate with the forest's inhabitants, fostering a bond that transcended the barriers of species. Her presence brought peace and unity to the forest, ensuring the survival of all its inhabitants. The disruption. One day, a group of loggers arrived at the edge of the Misty Peaks. They were driven by their insatiable greed for the forest's valuable timber, and their arrival was like a dark cloud casting a shadow over the tranquil land. Ignoring the protests of the woodland creatures, they began to fell trees with reckless abandon, sending tremors through the earth and shattering the serene atmosphere that had reigned for centuries. Gaia, the Gaur, was deeply disturbed by this intrusion. She felt the anguish of the forest in her very bones, and her heart ached for her companions, both large and small. Determined to protect her beloved forest, she set out towards the edge of the woods, her massive form moving gracefully through the undergrowth. Using her remarkable ability to communicate with animals, Gaia attempted to reason with the loggers. She approached them with a quiet strength, speaking in a voice that seemed to resonate not just in the air, but in the hearts of those who heard it. She spoke of the delicate balance of nature, of the interconnectedness of every living being, and of the consequences of disrupting this harmony. However, the loggers were deaf to her words, their minds clouded by visions of profit and progress. Undeterred, Gaia persisted. She stood between the loggers and the ancient trees they sought to fell, her eyes reflecting the ages of wisdom held within her. She spoke again, this time with an air of authority that drew even the most hardened loggers' attention. She recounted tales of the forest's history, stories of generations of creatures that had called this place home, and the irreplaceable beauty that they were destroying. Her words struck a chord, if only for a moment, in the hearts of a few loggers who were willing to pause and consider the consequences of their actions. As the loggers pushed further into the forest, Gaia could feel the pain of her forest companions intensify. She retreated to the heart of the woods, a heavy sadness in her eyes. She knew that more direct action was needed, for the balance had been disrupted, and the Misty Peaks were at a turning point in their long history. Rallying the Guardians. With a heavy heart, Gaia retreated to the heart of the Misty Peaks, where an ancient clearing bathed in dappled sunlight lay hidden. This was the meeting place of the forest's guardians, the spirits who had protected the land for countless generations. Each guardian represented a different aspect of the forest's essence, and their combined strengths were needed now more than ever. Determined to rally the guardians, Gaia embarked on a journey through the intricate web of the forest. Her footsteps were purposeful, her connection with the land guiding her towards each guardian's domain. First, she sought out the wind dancer, a spirit who embodied the swift currents that rustled the leaves and carried the scents of the forest far and wide. Gaia found her atop a high ridge, her form flickering like the wind itself. With a voice that sounded like the rustling leaves, Gaia spoke of the threat that had befallen their home, of the disruption to the very essence of the forest they loved. Wind Dancer, moved by Gaia's words, agreed to join the fight. Next, Gaia sought the counsel of Elder Oak, the oldest and wisest spirit of the woods. His roots ran deep, tapping into the secrets held by the earth itself. Gaia found him in a secluded grove, his branches heavy with leaves that whispered ancient truths. She spoke of the loggers' encroachment, of the destruction of trees that had stood for centuries. Elder Oak's voice rumbled like thunder as he agreed to lend his wisdom to their cause, vowing to guide them with his timeless knowledge. Gaia's journey continued to the heart of the forest, where the Moonshadow Lynx prowled in the shadows. This elusive guardian embodied the mystery and stealth that protected the creatures of the night. Gaia found her amidst a moonlit glade, her eyes gleaming with a wild light. Gaia spoke of the fear that had gripped the smaller creatures, of the loss of their homes and safety. Moonshadow Lynx, touched by Gaia's words, agreed to use her keen senses and swift movements to aid in their fight. Finally, Gaia sought the guidance of Starlight Owl, a spirit that soared through the night skies, its feathers reflecting the brilliance of distant stars. She found him perched on a high branch, his eyes reflecting the vastness of the cosmos. Gaia spoke of the harmony that had been disrupted, of the balance that must be restored. Starlight Owl, his voice a haunting melody, agreed to use his sight beyond sight to guide them through the darkness that lay ahead. With the Guardians united, Gaia's heart swelled with hope. The Misty Peaks were not defenseless, they were fortified by the very essence of the forest itself. The Guardians, each embodying a different facet of nature's beauty, were ready to face the challenge that lay ahead and to restore the balance that had been disrupted. The unity of spirit and purpose would be their greatest strength as they stood against the encroaching darkness and fought for the survival of their beloved forest. The triumph and the metaphor. United, Gaia and the Guardians devised a plan to confront the loggers and halt their destructive rampage. As the loggers advanced further into the Misty Peaks, they were met by an unyielding force of nature that they had not anticipated. The wind howled with the fury of the wind dancer, knocking aside machinery and scattering debris. Vines and roots, animated by the wisdom of elder oak, entwined around the loggers' equipment, rendering them powerless. The Moonshadow Lynx moved like a ghost through the trees, causing fear to stir in the hearts of the loggers as they glimpsed fleeting shadows and heard eerie sounds. High above, the Starlight Owl's eyes shone with a celestial light, illuminating the loggers' path and revealing their every move. The loggers, overwhelmed by the supernatural onslaught, were forced to retreat in disarray, leaving behind their machinery and tools. Gaia and the Guardians stood united at the forest's edge, watching as the loggers fled. The forest itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, and the tension that had gripped the land slowly began to dissipate. With the threat vanquished, Gaia and the Guardians rejoiced, their triumphant roars and songs echoing through the Misty Peaks. The forest joined in the celebration, as birds filled the air with melodic tunes and the rustling leaves added their own rhythm to the jubilation. The wounded earth began to heal, and life surged back into the land. Saplings emerged from the forest floor, and the wounded trees began to mend their scars. As time passed, the tale of Gaia and the Guardians spread throughout the land, becoming a legend whispered by creatures great and small. The Misty Peaks became a symbol of unity and resilience, a testament to the power of nature and the strength that can be found when diverse forces come together for a common purpose. The tale of Gaia and the Guardians serves as a poignant reminder that when facing challenges, our individual strengths are amplified when combined with the strengths of others. Just as Gaia united with the Guardians, people from different backgrounds, cultures, and abilities can join forces to protect and preserve the world we share. The Misty Peaks stand as a beacon of hope, teaching us that by fostering unity and working together, we can overcome even the most daunting obstacles and restore balance to our lives and the environment. Just as the forest healed and thrived after the disruption, so too can our world flourish when we nurture our connections and embrace our shared responsibility to safeguard our planet for generations to come. The end. Don't forget to subscribe.